Hello everyone, I'm Tam, and we are back with another spurious dish. Today we have one red cabbage. Red cabbage is actually one of the most nutrients dense vegetables, even more so than I think spinach. So this is like a powerhouse of nutrients, although it's pretty hard to kind of eat. Anyway, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, so about 16 tablespoons in total of unsalted butter. It seems like a lot. I don't know. I think it'll be okay. And then we have balsamic vinegar. So if you never had this, if you never used this, it tastes like sweet wine with like a saltiness to it. That's how I would describe this. This is made from grape juice that's, I think, cooked and fermented a little bit. Probably just cooked. So it's sweet, tangy, and has a grape flavor to it. So that's what it is. So the idea is to cut this up into maybe like 1 inch squares. So something that's slightly bigger than a spoonful. So that way it still is kind of nice to kind of scoop up. If I cut this too small, it will look kind of awkward in the soup. So let's cut it like 1 inch, or maybe like one and a half inch. So it's still kind of big and looks a bit more appealing. If I cut this too small, it looks very weird and kind of awkward to look at. So we're not doing that. So about like I don't know, like maybe like 1.5 inch squares, decent size. The butter is to add more fat and a bit of flavor. So that way the soup is heavy. It doesn't taste too light and diluted. This will give it a bit of like heaviness to it. You can also use probably sour cream or something like that to add more kind of heaviness so it feels more filling. Or I guess some other fat like lard or tallow, whatever have you. I'm going with butter. So this is all vegetarian. So that's the kind of idea here. And the balsamic vinegar adds flavor, so sweetness, tanginess with a bit of like a grapevine flavor to it. I will probably add like maybe like a 1 cup. I'm expecting probably maybe like 4 servings. So 4 servings. So 1 serving, 2 servings, 4 servings. So each serving is like 1/4 of the cabbage chopped up, plus 4 tablespoons of butter, plus maybe like 1/4 of a cup of the balsamic vinegar. So that's like 1 serving. That's what I'm thinking. This will do 4 serving sizes in total. It will probably need like 8 cups of water, so 2 cups of water per serving, something like that. So that's the ratio we're going with. Okay, so I'll come back when I have finished cutting up the red cabbage, washing and cutting the red cabbage, because you definitely want to wash the outside, or wash your outside, or just peel it off. Anyway, yeah, and remove the white part of it, because that's bitter, and you can't really taste it. You can reuse the white part, the stem, for like making vegetable broth. Kind of just toss it in there if you want to, but that's up to you. I'll just toss that away. I'll put these into the pot so it's ready to go, and I'll come back when I'm ready for the next part. There is our chopped red cabbage. There's actually a lot of them. Actually, it's quite a bit of food. Maybe twice as much as I anticipated. But we'll see how this goes. So about 1 inch square, 1 inch cube. See, 1 inch. So about 1 inch by like 1 inch roughly cubes. Looks very freaky, like a slice of a brain or something. Anyway, I also melted down the butter. I wanted to see how much butter there was. This should be okay. I mean, there's still a lot of butter, so there should be a lot of like fat and flavor in that. So let's add the cabbage in. Let me just put the phone to the side. And let me just carefully do. Oh no! Okay, let's see. Carefully do this. Carefully. Just the hardest part of soups is getting things inside. The hardest parts of making soup is putting things inside and then taking things out. So just gotta take your time with it. The hardest part for me anyway. Putting things in. Oh wow, yes, this is a lot. Okay. Yes, there is a lot of like cabbage. This is not a lot of cabbage. Ooh, yes, this is way more than I should put inside. Let me just put these out here. I actually dropped a few into the ground here. Let's take these out. I'm still going to proceed because the cabbage will definitely soften up, so the volume will decrease as I cook this. So you see right now is actually a perfect perfect volume for the amount of butter inside. But that's okay. We'll see how it tastes because I'm also going to add the vinegar later on. So the flavor is not just from the butter and the cabbage. The flavor is also going to be from the vinegar itself. So which I'll add later on because I don't know how much flavor the cabbage will release. So we'll see how much flavor it releases before I actually put in more stuff. Yeah. You definitely want to put the vinegar in first, yeah, and put it in earlier than later because it kind of melds with the ingredients. It's not like salt. Salt is different. Salt is like salt is just putting things near the end. If you add salt near the end, it's okay. Doesn't really change the flavor profile compared to putting salt in earlier. If you add the vinegar later on, that may change because the vinegar is made from grapevines. This one anyway. So there's still the longer you cook this, the more different it can kind of taste. It probably tastes a bit more like rancid, more kind of like sour. The longer you cook this, is what I'm trying to say. That's okay. Oh wow, this is a full pot actually. Yeah, this is surprisingly a lot of like cabbage compared to the original plant. The original like veggie was like this big. Now it's like double the size. Most of it as well as just air, and that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna get some water here. This is just plain water. So let's put like 8 cups of this. 8 cups. I'm just eyeballing this right now. It's 8 cups. Probably what we'll do. Actually, this is probably like this is probably more like I guess 10 cups of water. Honestly, 10 cups of water. Yeah, it's probably like 10 cups of water. This is a much bigger cabbage than I guess what I was expecting. So it's much bigger yield compared to what I anticipated. Okay, let me just move this around really quickly, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Actually, I can't move it around. I can't move it at all. It's just too tight. Okay, well, just try anyway. Just push it out a little bit. So many cabbages. So this is 10 cups of water roughly. That's fine. I'll leave it there. So This is like 10 cups of 10 cups of water. It's pretty big. It's probably more than I need. As you cook this, the cabbage will dry up. Not dry up. It'll kind of soften. So the volume should decrease by like 75% or something like that. We'll see. It's fine. So I guess I'll let this simmer for half an hour. See how that goes. And if it's still not soft, I'll let it go for another half an hour. I'll test the broth about half an hour in, and then I'll decide whether or not to add the how much of the vinegar I'll put into the soup. So I'll come back when we're half an hour in. We're at the half an hour mark. I tasted the soup. The cabbage is nice and tender. Still a bit of like, it's still firm enough to kind of like I guess gnaw on, kind of chew a little bit. However, it's pretty tender right now. The broth itself is too diluted. The butter and the flavor of the red cabbage go well together. However, this broth is like probably 4 times more water than should actually be inside of it. So the flavor is very diluted right now. Let's see if our friend the balsamic vinegar can solve this. I'll put in like 1 cup to see what it does, and we'll see from there. Put in 1 cup, and then let it cook for like 50 more minutes. So let me just grab my thing here. Actually, let me open it first. Sorry about that, folks. My phone dropped, so I'm doing this with 2 hands right now. So this is roughly 1 cup of balsamic vinegar. I'll just like kind of pour in here and kind of just move around here. Yeah, so let's see how this goes. I'll put 1 cup in there and kind of like stir the pot around so it evenly distributes. And then I'll wait like another like 15 minutes. So I'll come back in the next 15 minutes. Here is our final product. Red cabbage soup. Let me zoom in here, you can see. After I added the vinegar, I let the soup simmer for another 10 minutes. So not 15 minutes, just 10 minutes. And then I tasted it, the broth. The broth was way off because the butter has a sweetness of its own. The sweetness from the vinegar was exactly right, perfect. However, the flavor profile was skewed because the butter was like all over here. So the other flavors was like the other flavors were going in the same direction, and the butter was like straight 45 degrees, straight in a 45-degree angle from the other flavors. The tanginess from the vinegar was like a 10 degrees difference. So the entire broth tasted very weird. The broth made me feel a bit nauseous actually. Like I was gonna barf or something because the butter was just so strong. So what I did was I added 1 tablespoon of salt. So after 10 minutes I turned it off, tasted the broth, didn't like it, put in 1 tablespoon and just kind of move it around. So the heat is off, I add the salt, I move it around so it kind of disperses it. And it tastes a lot better. Tastes exactly as it should. So the salt neutralized, reined in the flavor of the butter. So that's nice. Okay, so here we are. let me put the phone to the side so it stays in place. Doesn't fall. Come on, stay in place. All right, so we'll see what this is all about. It smells very nice from the salt actually. Without the salt, without putting salt into this, the vinegar had a very strong kind of like sour smell. The salt definitely brings out more of the flavor inside the soup here. So it smells like a mild, buttery, kind of like cabbage smell with a bit of like earthy saltiness to it. You can definitely smell the butter. Yeah, it's like a dark velvety butter smell. That's how I describe smell like. Yeah, like kind of like a dark chocolate butter smell, with like raspberry, I guess. So let's see what the broth tastes like. Just the broth by itself. Yeah, it tastes really nice. It tastes really nice. The salt definitely evens up the profile. It still tastes a bit diluted because there was so much water. So it does taste diluted. However, the vinegar and the butter combine really well, and the mild sweetness from the cabbage definitely helps a lot too. It's a very it's like red wine soup kind of the feeling. The red wine soup. It's how I describe the image I'm seeing right now. All right, so the cabbage itself. It's okay. No, it's not. It's nothing special. It's just boiled cabbage. I mean, you could definitely, I guess, I could have sautéed this before I put it into the soup. So I could have put the two sticks of butter into a pan, saute the cabbage around so it's kind of like a bit crispy and a bit crispy and I guess fried up, and then put it into the soup itself. So it's more interesting to eat. This is just like boiled cabbage. That's all it is. That's nothing fancy. Just boiled cabbage. Still pretty good. The vinegar is very strong. I should have put in like half of it. So instead of 1 cup, maybe like 2 tablespoons, or one tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of this, maybe like 1 teaspoon of the salt. This is 1 cup of vinegar, and it's very strong. You definitely taste it. It's just overpowering the other flavors very strongly. Yeah, the vinegar is very strong. It's kind of like counteracting the other flavors actually. Some carrots would be good because the carrots would have like a more sweetness to it, and kind of diverse the flavor to a different direction. It's still pretty okay. It's definitely very filling. Like just this one bowl of veggie can definitely veggie soup can definitely keep you full for 4 to 5 hours. Definitely like around like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah. No doubt. Okay. Yeah, this is a very filling soup. The flavor is just kind of like skewed towards vinegar too much. It doesn't have enough natural sweetness to it. I mean, cabbage itself is kind of like just kind of neutral in terms of sweetness, so it's okay. Probably would be a lot better with like a bit of a cabbage and then carrots, because the carrots also add a bit of like orange color, so it looks a lot nicer and also adds a bit of like natural sweetness. This is probably good for now like 4 or 5 servings. So I guess around like 6 servings in total. All right, everyone, have a good day.